Well, now we have one of the most exciting topics that you can actually talk about as a human being. We're going to talk about love. Like, no one is cheering. It's a pretty exciting topic. We're going to talk about love in the digital age. With us for this talk is Philippe from Happn. And Happn is an app where you can meet people that you actually have met before. You might know Tinder. No one would actually admit that you use Tinder. You might know Tinder, and you can meet people through Tinder that you've never seen before, and you can become friends or hook up. Happn works in a different way. You all know the situation. You are on the subways, and you meet someone, you see someone, and you actually don't have the courage to talk to that person. So how do you get in touch? And this is where Happn happens. So Philippe is going to talk with us about what Happn can do for people to meet and fall in love in the digital age. Welcome here on stage.
Thank you.
So I've heard
everyone.
you have like more than 10 million users by now.
Yeah, more than 13 now.
More than 30 million users by now. How many cities are you?
We're in 40 markets.
In 40 markets. Can I use you here in Hanover?
Yeah, you can. You can. Not that many people in Hanover. But
so I can.
you'd rather go to Berlin or Paris.
Yeah, okay. I do live in Berlin, so that makes falling in love a little easier. So, well, you're going to have a talk about how love happens in the digital age and how you bring love back to the real world, right?
Exactly. We're going to talk a little bit about disruption, about what we're doing and how we're changing things in this.
That's pretty exciting. So thank you very much. The stage is yours.
Me.
Give a warm hand to Philippe.
Thank you. So we're going to talk about bringing the real world back into online dating. We're going to talk a little bit about disruption and how we came up with the idea and we're developing it and it's growing over the world. The first thing you need to do, if you want to talk to us, if you want to follow us, you can look at Happn app on Twitter and you can, of course, use the CeBIT hashtag. If there are questions you want to ask, I'll be sticking around later, but you can also ask them online. When you want to disrupt a market, you need to first understand what is already there. The next two slides are about what we call traditional online dating. It's not about bashing, not at all. It's just about observing what people were doing before. The Match.com, OkCupids of the world were based on an experience that is a PC-based experience. One of the things you can see here is, first of all, you do it at home. When you're sitting at home, it's not in your real life, it's not real time. Second, it's very time consuming. Usually to sign on these websites, they're going to ask you 100 questions. They want to know whether you like dogs, and if yes, which dogs, and if you like movies from the early part of the 50s, because let's face it, the second part of the 50s actually sucks. And then you end up on your computer with a catalog of people that you're browsing through, just like you're browsing on any kind of e-commerce website. So this is one of the things that we're trying to change. Another one we're trying to change is the promise. When you go to traditional online dating, they're promising love. In a commercial that they had, one of them had recently, they were saying if you're not married within a year, we'll reimburse you for the first 6 months. So it's really about betting that with their algorithms, they're going to match you with people that you will actually fall in love with. And we believe that that is something that nobody can actually guarantee you. So how do we disrupt that? Well, first of all, we took those three statements. First, we cross paths with hundreds of people every day in real life. And you cross paths with hundreds of people here, you cross paths with hundreds of people in Hanover, in cross paths with thousands of people in Paris, in London, in New York, in Sao Paulo. So basically, it's just about you going through your life that will take you there. The second is, coming back to the promise, we believe that in today's world, it's not about finding love right away. That's not what you and I are looking for. We're looking to meet new people, and then we'll see what happens. We'll meet, we'll chat, we'll have drinks, we'll entertain each other, we'll discuss, we'll debate, we'll talk about technology that Nicholas did in his first talk. We'll talk about politics, like a lot of people do in the US, and from what I heard in Germany as well very recently. But we'll talk about all that, we'll exchange views, we'll show who we are, and then eventually, maybe or maybe not, we'll fall in love. Because love is not rational. It's, no matter the algorithm, you can't guarantee it. That's our take on it. So what we want is for you to meet people and then see what happens. And what happens is up to you, probably not up to us at all. I'm putting here our beliefs, because these beliefs actually helped us design the product. And the product is what it is today because of those. You have to provoke your destiny. You have to find the people you've crossed paths with. One of the things we use a lot in our advertising, it all starts in real life. And that's the key of Happn. We'll talk about the product a little bit later. It's about misconnections, and it's about understanding the fact that you and other people being here in this room at this, right now is already something in common. It's probably the fact that you're here and that you may find each other again in the same bar tonight or in the same restaurant tomorrow. That's more things in common that you will ever have with someone who likes the same movies as you do. So in the end, it's really about virtual online dating versus real life. And what we want to do is make sure that the real life drives your experience. It drives your experience on Happn in a better way than it was done before. To exemplify this, I'm going to show you a short video of the situations that we use to define what Happn is. So there you go, it all starts in real life. We tried to make this as an inspirational movie. But let's get back to our subject and the subject of disruption. If you want to change a market, you need to innovate. That's the first key. You need to find a way to bring something new. And something new means if you truly succeed in that, you'll bring new usages. In other words, people will actually experience the subject, not your product, but the broader subject that you're addressing in a different way from what they were doing before. And that's very important. In today's world, we believe that all this can only be done with this. It has to be mobile. And since we're talking about dating, as Lena said, it's kind of a universal need or preoccupation. Well, we kind of thought that we had to be global from the get-go. We're a French company. We were started in Paris, but we've never been a French company going international. We we were global really from the get-go. And we opened our second market, which was London, less than 3 months after we launched in Paris. And we still, at that time, had only 6 employees. So disruption is based on those 4 elements. Innovate, bring new usages to your users, be mobile, and be global. When you talk about being mobile, this thing, you're probably just like me, it's with you all the time. So you use it at any time, and you will use it anywhere. I mean, I'm in Germany today, and I even have this European or international plan. I can do whatever I am doing at home, I can do it here just as well. So I can go on Happn with my data plan. The thing is, since I will do it anywhere and at any time, I have 3 keys that will help me get engaged into the product. It has to be simple. If it's not simple, I cannot do it quickly. I cannot do it really at any time. It has to be immediate. In other words, it has to show me what I'm experiencing right now, especially in dating. I don't want to point anyone, but if you're on Happn, I want to know it now. So it has to come up on my app as soon as I get it out. And at some point, we're not talking about something dramatic. We're talking about the future. We're talking about our own hopes. So it has to be fun. It has to be gamified. It does not have to be gamified to the point that it becomes too much of a play, like other apps. We want it to remain poetic and romantic, but it has to be fun. We're not playing with people. We're playing with the product. So in essence, and I'm going to come back to what the product exactly is at this point. On Happn, you have a timeline of the people you have crossed paths with. So it's hyper-local. In other words, it shows you the people that were around in a circle of 250 meters around you at some point. And it's real-time in the way that it goes backwards chronologically. So we can show you who's around you right now, who was around you 10 minutes ago, et cetera, et cetera. So we have technological pillars that are this hyper-geolocation and the real-time. And we want to bring the promise that you will find the people you've crossed paths with, whether it was 1 second ago, whether it was 20 minutes ago, or last night. As a mission, we have a mission as a company. We want to become a leader of online dating by positioning mobility at the heart of the user experience. So we are a 100% mobile product, and we will stay that way. And our mission to you, or to our users, is that every journey and every moment of your life will become new meeting opportunities. And that's what it's all about. So how do we do this? For those of you who don't have the product, I'm going to show you a little bit how we translate all these ideas, all these promises into something on your smartphone. First of all, it's about the timeline. So you have here the people that were in this 250 meter circle around you at some point. So at the top, the people who are there now. And as you scroll down, and you can scroll down all the way back in time to when you started using Happn, you will see the people you've crossed paths with. When you get on a profile, we see basic information. Again, you don't have, we're a Facebook Connect app, so it's very quick to get on the app. We're not asking 100 questions. There's no algorithm, there's no matchmaking in there. It's really about first name, age, your job if you want to put it, and then we'll tell you if you have mutual interests or mutual friends on Facebook. Then we show you where you cross paths. It's important because then you will remember exactly when you were in that area. One other thing that's important is security and privacy. This map will always be about 300 meters by 100 meters. So you will never know where the other person exactly was, not precisely. So as a user, your position is never displayed precisely to anyone else. Then it's about 3 screens to recreate the live experience. On the timeline, you can directly send a like to someone. The like is secret. And if it's mutual, you'll have a crush and you'll be able to start a conversation. The charm, which we had from the very beginning in the app, allows you to send a notification to someone. And it's that little step. It's not like going to someone in a bar to ask them if you can buy them a drink, but it's about sending them a notification, telling them that you like them. And if you have a positive answer to that charm, you'll be able to start a conversation again. The idea is that we want to help you display a little bit of who you are on the app, find the people you want to meet, and then engage the conversation until you actually do meet them, because then again, it all happens in real life, so you will have to meet them. That's the point. How do we enhance the product to allow you to do that? Well, as I was saying, on the right-hand side, you can start a conversation, but it's difficult for some people to know what to say exactly. We've all have this case where you go up to someone and you start chatting and you're losing your words. So we figured, why not use music with that? As we discussed with a great company, which Nicholas mentioned earlier, called Spotify, we had the idea that music is a great way to express yourself. And we integrated that in the app in two ways. You use music on the right-hand side on your profile. You pin Spotify tracks on your profile to kind of say what you like, either what you're listening to now or what you've been listening to forever since you were 14. And so it displays a little bit, it says a bit about who you are. And the other part is, if you don't know what to say to Lara, well, send her a track, because maybe you'll touch her with that. And you can express with somebody else's words and music what you feel. We've also added an integration with Instagram. The idea is, on Happn, you have profile pictures. You select them from your phone, from your Facebook account, from anywhere you want. But we also thought that you will not change those on a regular basis. Having your Instagram feed tells other people a little bit more about who you are, and it's also more up to date, depending on how much you use Instagram, actually. Very recently, we've added something else. We've added a voice messaging feature. We've had numbers of requests from our users who wanted to know more about the people they were chatting with before meeting them. And they thought that voice was a key element of who you're going to meet. So they wanted to hear the people's voice before meeting them. So we added this voice message feature. Why voice message? Because it's still a dating experience with someone you haven't met necessarily. So we want to keep it safe. It's not a real-time conversation. It's not bothering you when you're doing something else. It doesn't make your phone ring. It's just a message that will pop in your app. With all these features, we've had great receptions from our users. We are available on iOS, on Android, and on Windows Phone. Not for the German market for Windows Phone, but we're pretty big in South America. We'll come to that, and it's very interesting to have Windows Phone there. And we have great ratings on each of the stores, and we're pretty happy with that. We're pretty happy with the press reception we get as well. Maybe you've seen some of it. And we're pretty happy with the testimonials that we get. The app has been live for 2 years now, so we start getting Happn weddings, and we start getting testimonials. I'll let you read 2 of those. And we have hundreds like this. It's from all over the world. It's very interesting. So, talked about our ideas, the promise, our beliefs, which are really strong, as you've seen in the movie. Talked about the product. Let's talk a little bit about the company and how we were able to expand. Happn was launched in February 2014. And as I said, to find the people who've crossed paths with, to put real life back into online dating experience, and to give a second chance to missed connections. We started in Paris, created by 3 founders, and that was pretty much 2 years ago. Since then, we've grown to more than 13 million users. We've grown from Paris to more than 40 markets, and we have a team of more than 65 people. In February, with 3 founders and a couple of interns, probably. So we're growing fast. The pillars of this growth, it's about product, it's about user acquisition, it's about monetization, and it's about the team you build. Product, because when you start a company, you have your idea for a product, but you need to know that what you want is to create the product your users love. You don't create a product for yourself. You have to make it simple. We talked about this earlier. And you have to never stop improving. Whether it is visible to the user or whether it is creating the ability to scale, you have to never stop improving. User acquisition is the key. You have to have a true identity. I think the movie I showed you and everything I'm describing about Happn, just as well as any advertising we do, shows our true identity. You have to use the right channels, of course, measure, track. You know, you're going to have a lot of talks about data here at CeBIT. Every mobile company will tell you they're a data-driven business. It is true. It has to be true. It's about monetization. You need to engage your users, very important, and you need to generate revenue. A lot of companies, mostly in the US, actually have no business model when they start. At Happn, we decided that we needed one. We needed to show that we can generate revenue in this business. In the product I showed you, the charm, to send the charm, you need to buy credits. We give you 10 free credits when you sign on. But after that, you need to buy them as in-app purchases. It's very easy. The credit costs, on average, 15 cents, euro cents, or dollar cents. And then you charm with those. So it was very key for us to have this from the beginning. And we've been very, very pleased with the engagement and the revenue that we've been able to generate. It's been awesome. And the team, I told you, going from 3 to 6, more than 65 people, has been key for us. It's about getting the right people and the best skills. As the CEO of the company, I have pretty much interviewed everyone we have on board, whether it was for 2 hours or 5 minutes, depending on their position. So, and we want to make sure we get the best skills. Then again, we're fairly lucky. Paris is a great area to hire good people with the right skills for your company. This shows you where we are today, where the 13 million users are. A lot of them in Western Europe. Specifically London, Paris, Copenhagen, Oslo, and Barcelona and Madrid, as well as Rome. Great traction in Istanbul as well. And we just started Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Warsaw about 2 months ago. Since September 2014, we are also in the US. We started in New York, and we are now currently expanding in other US cities such as LA, San Francisco, Chicago, Miami, and Canada as well. And since about a year ago, we launched in South America, and our biggest market today is Sao Paulo. And Buenos Aires, Bogota, Santiago de Chile are also very, very important markets for us. So, and more recently, going to the east, we've started in Asia, Bangkok, Manila, Hong Kong, and very, very recently, Tokyo. So there are 500 cities in the world with more than 1 million people. So 500 cities in the world where you're going to cross paths with a lot of single people everywhere. And our target is single people of all ages. A lot of people actually compare us to Tinder and say that we target millennials. I can tell you that with the identity we have, our targets are all single people, regardless of whether they're 20, 21, or they're 50. we have a lot of people over 35 on the app. And it's very interesting for us because it means that we've been able to make the promise that actually addresses everybody's needs. Where are we going to be next? Well, we want to go everywhere and eventually to every of those 500 cities I mentioned and probably more. That's our battle for the future, improving the product and going to those red dots within the next year. So that's what we want to do. As I was saying, it all starts in real life. We're about what we do in the real world. So I'm going to give you 3 fun facts about the real world that we get from our analytics and the statistics we make from our product. The first one is about the US. The best places to have a crush in the US. If you're in New York, you want to go to Union Square, you want to go to Williamsburg. But for some people, you want to go to the financial district. That's probably the most highly dense area in the US. In Boston, you want to go to Harvard Square. In Chicago, you want to go to Lincoln Park. In San Francisco, where I used to live, you want to go to the financial district, obviously. You want to go to Soma. You want to go to the Sunset as well. And most of the time, you can go to for those of you who know San Francisco in the summertime or spring, you can go to the Ocean Beach barbecue pits and you'll meet a lot of people there. And then there's LA, San Diego. And Miami, of course, you have to go on the beach. But that was obvious. Everyone knows that. The next one is about London. We're always trying to see, is there something that is more appealing to other people? Since what we show about you are your photos, your age, and we know age is a criteria for pretty much everyone, and your first name and your job, we want to figure out whether your first name or your job have an impact. When you do statistics, it somehow does. If you're in London, you'd rather be named James, Richard, and Tom than Philippe, for example. Doesn't work, I can tell you that. If you're a girl, be Sarah, Sophie, Laura. It's incredible. Those are real statistics. Girls with those first names receive more charms than Charlotte, actually. And the last one I wanted to show you is what people do in Brazil. In Sao Paulo, this is the kind of activity we see on the app over a day. 6 a.m., I have no idea whether it's the beginning of the day or the end of the day for some people, probably the end of the day, but they send charms. And they send charms to the people they've crossed paths with during the party they were at during that night. At 8 a.m., they send likes. It's a little bit more discreet. They don't want to seem too engaged at that point. In the afternoons, 4 p.m. might be early, but that also counts the weekends. They start sending messages to each other. And then the peak of the evening comes, and from 7 p.m. on, it's about doing everything you can do on the app. Send likes, charms, message other people, have crushes, and start the experience. And one key thing, if you're very reactive on Happn, you can actually send the charm, have the crush, have a few messages, and then actually go and talk to that other person in person within the same evening. That's the key, and that's what we're here for, so we hope a lot of people actually do that. Thank you.
Well, I would really quick like to know who of you is actually or has ever tried online dating?
They're lying.
Honestly, you're not honest. Well, maybe this is a really good moment to, really quick, we have an anonymous tool of asking you. Maybe you want to go on, do you all have a mobile phone? Who has a mobile phone? Oh, come on, you can be honest about that one. Who has a mobile phone on him right now? Who's access to the web, Wi-Fi, web access on his phone? You're not on, You're not on the web right now? Am I the only one? No one? Well, then this, for all those that are online, try to go on your browser and write, well, our technic guy isn't actually able to put it on. Those of you who have their mobile phone on them, try to write Voxer, voxr.org/open. Can you try that? Type, let's do that question once more. If you've ever tried online dating, type A if you have, and type B if you haven't, and then click on send.
So you're doing it the anonymous way.
It's anonymous, so no one knows actually who sent this. voxr.org/open, like open stage. And then, did you ever use online dating? And A means yes, and if you type B, you've never ever tried. I would really like to know.
So you have the results?
Okay, we should have the results by now. Can I put that? It should be here. No. Maybe I'm doing this wrong. Am I? You? Vote. No, it's not showing it. I might do it wrong. I'm so sorry. There we go. There you go.
So
There's only one person that typed B, obviously. So no one of you has ever used online dating. Honestly, I don't believe you. How many users do you have?
More than 13 million.
And how active are they?
They're quite active on a monthly basis and on a weekly basis. It's
how many emails have you got of people sending pictures that got married because of them met on Happn?
That got married because they met on Happn?
Do you know of any? Would people be so honest? I mean, they go back and tell their families and say, like, we met on the park.
Yeah.
That's much better than
We've had about 100 of them.
Oh, really?
So I guess in reality, there's a lot more.
Yeah. And people actually use it because they're playing around, and then they get all like shocked because it really works.
Yeah, it's the good surprise of it. It actually works.
The bad part is I'm married, so I'm not allowed to use it. I was about to download it, and then I thought, how do I explain that at home?
Yeah, usually you can't.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
So I don't do it. So thank you very much for having had a talk about how real life and digitalization in dating and love. And I think this is a really exciting part at the moment happening because we're getting better and better into connecting the real world with the virtual world and using the virtual world to actually enhance our real life. So thank you very much, Philippe.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me.
Give him a warm hand.